रोज़ हम भगवद गीता से गाइडेंस लेते हैं। सो आज भी हम भगवद गीता से एक गाइडेंस देखेंगे कि क्या आ रहा है हमारे। लेट्स सी। आज हमारे पास चैप्टर 7 नॉलेज ऑफ द एब्सोल्यूट के श्लोक 15 आया है। नामं दुष्कृतिनो मुधा प्रपद्यन्ते नरधमा मायाया पहरता ज्ञानासुरं भवम् असृतः। Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the aesthetic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. तो कौन भगवान श्री कृष्ण के पास में सरेंडर नहीं करता है? वो जो कि पूरी तरीके से निर्बुद्धि है, जो मैनकाइंड में सबसे लोएस्ट एनर्जी को रखता है, जिसकी इल्यूजन के वजह से सारी एनर्जी ही नष्ट हो जाती है, जो एस्थेटिक चीज़ों में माने जिसकी एनर्जी जो है ना बिल्कुल पूरी तरीके से डिस्ट्रैक्टेड है, जो पूरी तरीके से डेमोनिक चीज़ों के वजह से डिस्ट्रैक्टिक है। ठीक है, डेमंस की एनर्जी से डिस्ट्रैक्टेड है एंड वो सरेंडर नहीं करना चाहता है। वो सारे लोगों को ना परेशानी है। ठीक है, सो ये भगवान श्री कृष्ण के पास में खुद को सरेंडर नहीं करते हैं। इट इज सेड इन भगवद गीता दैट सिंपली बाय सरेंडरिंग वन सेल्फ unto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material natures. At this point, a question arises: how is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary men do not surrender to the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, an all-powerful personality of Godhead? Mukti or liberation from the laws of material nature is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with the great plans and perseverance of great many years and words. But if that liberation is possible by simply surrendering unto the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hardworking leaders adopt the simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, Kumaras, Manu, Vaishya, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahalada, Bali, and later on Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of Supreme Person and all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, etc., but those who pose themselves as such for material gain do not accept the plan or path of Supreme Lord. Those have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and battle the knowledge of planning commissions. मतलब यहाँ पे जो मतलब बोला जा रहा है कि बहुत सारे पावरफुल पॉलिटिशियंस होते हैं। ये बहुत बड़ा है, इसको पूरा नहीं मैं नहीं कर रही हूँ कवर, नहीं तो बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा। जो पावरफुल पॉलिटिशियंस है या पावरफुल जो लोग हैं, उन लोगों के मतलब वो लोग अपने आप को क्यों भगवान के आगे सरेंडर नहीं करते हैं? ठीक है, जो लर्नेड लीडर्स है सोसाइटी के, सिर्फ वही क्यों करते हैं? तो इसमें बोला गया है कि मटेरियल एनर्जी इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग है कि उनको बहुत आसानी से डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर देती है और उनको मटेरियल चीज़ें अपनी एस्थेटिक एनर्जी से इतना ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर देती है कि उनको लगता है कि हम बिना भगवान के तो कर लेंगे, और फिर वो उसी गति में बस डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते हुए घूमते हैं। द एस्थेटिक प्लान मेकर्स आर डिस्ट्रैक्ट हियरिंग बाय द वर्ड दुष्कृतिना और मिसक्रिएंट्स। कृति मीन्स वन हु इज परफॉर्म मेटेरियस वर्क। द atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, may take intelligence to execute, but because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Duskriti, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. एक चीज़ तुम लोगों ने नोटिस किया है, जैसे भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को समझाया कि धर्म के लिए युद्ध है, इन सबको मारने से कोई गलती नहीं है, ऑलरेडी मारे जा चुके हैं, या अल्टीमेटली इनको मरना ही है, या व्हाटएवर। सो सेम चीज़ ना टेररिस्ट्स भी करते हैं, वो भी लोगों को ऐसे ही ब्रेन वॉश करते हैं, बट वो इनोसेंट लोगों को मारने के लिए करते हैं, इसीलिए वो टेररिस्ट है। भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने पापियों को मारने के लिए बोला था, इसीलिए वो सही रास्ते में। सेम एक्टिविटी बट डन फॉर डिफरेंट रीजन्स। सो उस हिसाब से चीज़ें बदल जाएगी। इन द गीता इट इज़ क्लियरली मेंशन द मटेरियल एनर्जी वर्क fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. सब कुछ भगवान की इच्छा से ही हो रही है, लेकिन उनको किसी से लेना देना नहीं है, तो वो डायरेक्टली किसी चीज़ के लिए ना ही रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, ना ही उनको किसी चीज़ से फ़र्क पड़ता है. It works as a shallow moves in accordance with the movements of the object, but still material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works. क्योंकि एथिस्ट के अंदर कोई भगवान की एनर्जीज नहीं है, तो उसको नहीं पता है कि कैसे काम होगा. Nor can we know the plan of Supreme Lord under illusion and the modes of passion and ignorance. All his plans battled, as in the case of Hiranya Kasipu Ravana. Those plans were smashed to dust along. They were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These Dushritana or miscreants are of four different patterns as outlined below. The Mudhas are those who are grossly foolish, like hardworking beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves and do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of beast burden is the ass. This humble beast is to make to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under the fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but this braying sound only disturbs others. This is position of the foolish fruitative worker. जो गधे का हालत है, वही एक foolish, जिसको पता ही नहीं है कि क्यों काम कर रहे हैं, काम बस करे जा रहे, उसकी यही हालत है. Most often those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear of the mortality of the living being. To such mudhas, material gains which are destructible are lives all in all, despite the fact that the mudhas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor. Sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights to fruitative gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusionary masters. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving mammon. Unfortunately, मतलब जो लोगों के पास में जाके उनको तेल लगाते हैं ना, जैसे बोलते हैं कि आप कितने अच्छे हो, तो जो ऐसे करते हैं. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they take time to hear of him from the proper sources. The swine who eats the night soil do not care to accept sweet meats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, the foolish worker will untiringly continue to hear the sense enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane world, but will have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world. Another class of Dushriti or miscreant is called the Naradhama, or the lowest mankind. Nara means human being, Adhama means lowest. Out of 8,400,000 species of living beings, there are 4 lakh human species, out of which there are numerous lower forms of human life. They are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regulated principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially, politically developed, but they have no religious principles, must be considered Naradhamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know supreme truth and the man's relationship with him. In the Geeta, the personality of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him and he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of the eternal relation with the supreme truth. The lost consciousness of the eternal relation with the supreme truth. The personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as Naradhama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb, an extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God to deliverance and promises to worship him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to God when he is in difficulty is a natural instinct in every living being, because he is eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusionary energy. It is duty of the guardians of children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. The 10 processes reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashrama. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world. There are 99.9% of population is नरधर्म. मतलब जब मम्मी के पेट में रहते हैं तो ऐसा माना जाता है कि सोल जो है आत्मा जो है वो प्रे करती है भगवान से कि हम आपका प्रेयर करेंगे, आपसे प्रार्थना करेंगे, मतलब करते हैं कि आप जो है वो हमें दुनिया में लाओ, हम आपका नाम ज्ञान करेंगे. लेकिन उसके बाद वो भूल जाते हैं, नाम करना ही भूल जाते हैं, इग्नोर करने लग जाते हैं. When the whole population becomes Naradharma, naturally all their so-called education is made null and void by the all-powerful energy of physical nature. पूरा एजुकेशन सिस्टम ही फिर भगवान से दूर करने लग जाता है. According to standard of the Geeta, a learned man is he who sees on equal terms the learned Brahmana, the dog, the cow, the elephant and the dog eater. This is the vision of true devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the incarnation of God as divine master, delivered the typical Naradharmas, the brothers Jagai and Madhai, and showed how the mercy of a real devotee is bestowed upon the lowest of mankind. So the Naradharma who is condemned by personality of Godhead can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in propagating the Bhagavad dharma or activities of the devotees, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of personality of Godhead. The essence of the message is Bhagavad Gita. The lowest among human beings can be delivered by the submissive hearing process only, but unfortunately they even refuse to give an oral reception to these messages, and what to speak of surrendering to the will of Supreme Lord. Naradharmas, or the lowest of mankind, willfully neglect the prime duty of the human being. The next class of Duskriti is called Mayaya Paharta Gyana, or those persons who erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusionary material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literary scientists, etc. But the illusionary energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. There are great number of Mayaya Paharta Gyana at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Shri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Shri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma, the spiritual soul. The super soul in every entity is impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. The super soul in every entity is his plenary motion. He is fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Mayaya Paharta Gyana deride the personality of Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord. मतलब लोगों को जिनको पता ही नहीं है भगवान की एनर्जीज के बारे में, वो उनको एक इंसान जैसा समझ लेते हैं. उनको पता ही नहीं कि भगवान ने ही सब इंसान के बॉडी के स्ट्रक्चर्स को खुद क्रिएट किया है. All the unauthorized interpretations of the Gita by the class of Mayaya Paharta Gyana outside the purview of the Paramatma system, Parampara system, are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding. The deluded interpretations do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. They nor do they teach others to follow the principle. The last class of Duskriti is called Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly aesthetic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon his material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such persons, those whose very principle of life is to decry the personality of Godhead, cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Sri Ramanujacharya Alabandaru of South India said, "O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with ascetic principles. Despite your uncommon qualities, features and activities, despite your personalities being confirmed a depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in the godly qualities. Therefore, grossly foolish persons, the lowest of mankind, deluded spectators, professed atheists, as above mentioned, never surrendered under the lotus feet of personality of Godhead, in spite of all scriptural authority. कितना भी अच्छे से समझा तो भगवान को पूजा करने से ये होता है, वो होता है,